Guys, trust me, the ancestors of this generation and world that is run by criminal syndicates are turning in their graves. On a lousy Monday afternoon in Ormonde, Johannesburg, routine construction work erupted into catastrophe, one that will now fracture public confidence in state oversight, regulatory enforcement, and the very institutions meant to safeguard South African lives. At approximately 14, as a first-floor concrete slab was being poured at a new commercial structure in Amethyst Business Park, the unthinkable happened. The slab gave way without warning, collapsing with the force of betrayal. Workers inside, men whose only crime was to earn a living, were buried in tons of steel and cement. Early optimism turned to grim reality as rescue teams arrived. Today, authorities have confirmed 6 construction workers are dead. 2 more remain trapped beneath unstable rubble, their fates uncertain. 1 survivor was pulled from the wreckage and rushed to hospital. Others are still unaccounted for as search efforts extend into the night. What was described by witnesses as a normal afternoon suddenly became a scene of devastation, anguish, and unanswered questions.
So what I can tell you, we are witnessing scenes of horror. Just behind me, a building here, a private company building that is not related to the company that was doing construction in the collapsed building. Vehicles have compounded the area. We are seeing government vehicles are here. We're also seeing the Netcare private sector vehicles are here. And we can tell you more than 30 vehicles that we can see here just to ensure that this operation gets underway. What we can tell you, Liesel, I'll ask my colleague Vanessa to just zoom in by that building. We are seeing a bit of a crack. We spoke earlier on off air with the emergency spokesperson, Olile Kumalo, who just said that that also might confirm, because as you can see, it's just a little bit sketchy, and we understand the building caved in. When we went off air, we saw rescue operation teams bringing out different equipments. I saw a grinder and other equipments that are metallic and machinery which are being brought in. 2 people still trapped under a rubble that is concrete. 1, we understand, as you can see, they're bringing another machine there to show you how details it seems like a driller or something like that. They are bringing it in because we understand that the situation is intensifying at this point. The 2 people that have been accounted for, believed to be still trapped underneath the rubble. 1 of them might have to be amputated because their leg has been damaged. We saw another personnel from the 4 people that were missing, or 5, has been taken to hospital to receive medical attention. At this point, their situation is not yet known and the intensity of it, but what we understand right now, 3 people still haven't been accounted for, and the rescue operation is still continuing. As we were talking, I asked the emergency spokesperson that in Johannesburg in particular, we continue to see issues of building collapsing, and they flag that one of the potential reasons might be that certain private sector members, when they do building construction, they don't necessarily consult the municipality or the Department of Safety that has to ensure plans are in place to approve the construction of those buildings. At this point, Liesel, anything might happen.
Tato, any comments from the building owner? I know you tried to speak to them earlier on. Are they still on the scene? What are they reflecting at this point? But even accounts from eyewitnesses who were privy to witnessing, obviously, what transpired at past 2 this afternoon.
Liesel, from what you've seen, particularly from the eyewitness point of perspective, they are not comfortable with talking to us. They keep flagging a certain eye who's watching like a hawk in case they give certain information. But we saw the 2 gentlemen. They were questioned by 2 detectives. Taking statements from them, they've been fingered or believed to be the people who might own the building. So we'll continue to gather information from our eyewitnesses. And what we've been told is that at around 1 o'clock, a loud bam was heard, and therefore loud screams were heard from the building, cries of people facing death. That's what was heard, a horror. Some of them, Liesel, I tell you, they are so affected to a point that they are shocked. Their eyes are wide open, not knowing what to do. And we know that they have bonded with these people, and some of them, they might not even see them again. It's a scene of horror and trauma.
Yeah. Look, it's still an active scene, Tato. So in terms of the rescue operations, tell us how long these operations are set to continue for.
Liesel, at this point, it might go through overnight. We are seeing an ambulance here. It's being brought in. I'm not sure if potentially one of the person has been located, but we can see a communication between emergency services with the people that are inside. We may see somebody who might be loaded in this ambulance. We understand it's a private sector ambulance that's coming in. I just want to monitor those shots, Liesel, as we wait in anticipation. The operation might go on for a very long time, because we understand this is a two-story building that has caved in.
Yes, and Tato, obviously,
details are still sketchy at this point.
Yes, Tato, obviously also trying to ascertain
We're
just trying to ascertain whether family members have also been notified at this point. I mean, some of the more personal developments on that front, given that the scene is still active, and we can obviously see emergency personnel working under pressure to locate those missing individuals, perhaps also, hoping that they are still alive at this point. Any indication whether, people are communicating on their cell phones who are trapped? How is communication faring on that front, those within the building who still remain trapped?
So we're not sure at this point if the families are aware of what is currently happening. But as you know, the power of social media as well as broadcast media, at this point, they might have an idea what is happening. We understand that the emergency services team, there are personnel deployed inside, just keeping contacts with them blow by blow to make sure that they stay with them and they're able to bring them to rescue. We are seeing right now, they are pointing out to the building that is behind me. I think one of the vehicles are being brought in. But what we're seeing right now, it seems as if somebody may be found. They may be found alive, Liesel, at this point. They may be found dead. As you know, that this building collapsed around about 2 o'clock this afternoon, which is more or less 3 hours later, and anything can happen any minute from now. We just continue to monitor those shots, and we can see a drone is being used to just locate the other parts whereby these people can be found. And we understand this building is high, almost to a tower of an electricity. It's very severe at this point.
Tato, just for clarity's sake, the building, the owner, what was what kind of trade did they ply in? Tell us a little bit more about the operations that were underway in that specific building, the type of skills and people that were employed there.
Liesel, from what we're seeing, it seems like it's a building which is under construction. And there is another building just next to it, which is the same, belongs to the same company. So it's a building that is under construction. Therefore, it just collapsed mid-operations of the construction of the building. We are not sure what kind of factory it might have been, but it's not too far from the Anglo-American, which is an industrialized area. So we would rather think maybe it's one of... Liesel, from what we're seeing, it seems like it's a building which is under construction, and there is another building just next to it, which is the same, belongs to the same company. So it's a building that is under construction. Therefore, it just collapsed mid-operations of the construction of the building. We are not sure what kind of factory it might have been, but it's not too far from the Anglo-American, which is an industrialized area. So we would rather think maybe it's one of the factories of industries.
Okay, Tato, thank you. I know that.
Of course, there, Liesel, as you can see, the stretcher is being pushed in. They're just waiting to be told which direction to go. But it's an indication that somebody may be found, because this stretcher was static before we went on air, and now it's coming closer to the scene where 2 people are still believed to be trapped. They're communicating with them. 3 of them unaccounted for. And as you know, 6 have died, and 1 taken to hospital for further medical attention.
Yes, Tato, we're on the visuals with you now. We also getting that glimpse into what you're also seeing, bringing us that live coverage from that scene as the rescue operations are underway. I know that imminent, or rather shortly, we are going to, see what happens as this rescue operation continues. It seems like there is another body that will be able to be retrieved. Whether the person is alive or dead at this point still remains a mystery, but we can see rescue personnel there on the scenes just getting ready to assist on that front. Again, this incident happened around past 2 this afternoon there, and just our reporter Tato Litsaba there is on the scenes. We bring us that coverage as information becomes available. Perhaps to just reiterate, we also had the EMA spokesperson earlier on describing that it was the middle floor that had caved in, and that the building remains unstable at this point as the rescue operations continue. It was a 2-story building that collapsed, where 6 people have been confirmed dead, and there were still 6 others who were who were injured and trapped. We know that 1 was sent to hospital, confirmed having been taken to Mill Park Hospital with severe injuries. The severity of that remains unknown at this point.
This is more than an industrial accident. It is now a political flashpoint. Municipal leaders have vowed a full investigation, promising to scrutinize every permit, every engineer's drawing, and every regulation that may have been ignored or improperly signed off. But for the families mourning today, bureaucratic reassurances will offer cold comfort. Johannesburg officials have urged the public to stay clear of the site, not only for safety, but to shield the chaos from wider scrutiny. Yet in a city already grappling with infrastructure failures and growing public distrust, this event feeds a larger narrative that safety and compliance are optional when economic expediency presses. Opposition voices are predictably sharpening their knives. Analysts anticipate that questions will now be raised in Parliament, on municipal oversight committees, and across social media. Were the proper approvals ever granted? Were inspectors sufficiently independent? Were corners cut, and at what human cost? President Cyril Ramaphosa has offered condolences and underscored the need for accountability. But the broader implications are unavoidable. This tragedy underscores how governance, regulation, and enforcement intersect, and what happens when that intersection collapses. As night falls over Johannesburg, the rescue lights still burn bright in Ormonde. Beneath them lie not just bodies and rubble, but the brewing political storm that will follow. A city mourns its dead. A nation